Hello everyone, welcome to Wing Papercrafting. My name is Angel Fitch. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you've all decided to join me today. Today we're going to do another episode of Template Tuesday, but we're going to change things up a little bit. So instead of doing two templates today, we're only going to do one. We're going to do our basic template today, and then we'll do a fun fold template on Friday. So we're going to make the template, and then we're going to make a card all in today's video. So let's go ahead and get started. This is a pretty easy template. So here's our recipe or directions here. So I'll keep that there and handy. So we're going to start with the card base. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to give this a nice burnish here, so it lays nice and flat for us. We've got our piece for the inside, which is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we've got our first layer, which is going to be a layer of pattern paper. So that's going to go here. So we'll go ahead and get that down. Oh, if I can get it picked back up. There we go. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this, and we're going to center this up on the front of our card base here. So something kind of like that. We'll give that a nice press. Alright, our next layer is going to be another piece of cardstock. Okay, this is going to be the same color as our card base. This is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then we have a third piece of cardstock that is a different color, but something that should match your paper collection. So this is 4.5 by 3 1/4. Now, when we make the card, we're actually going to run this piece through an embossing folder to give it a little bit of texture. But that's something you can choose to do or not do when you go to make your cards. Alright, so this is going to go down here, centered up in the middle of our piece of pattern paper. If I can get this to scoot over a little bit. Oh my goodness. I am having the worst time picking things back up. Okay, we just need that to go right just a little so that we are somewhat centered, huh? And let's move it down just a smidge too. Oh my, come on. I feel like I'm crooked today. There we go, that's not too bad. Alright, so we'll get that down. Then this would be our piece that we would emboss. And then after we emboss it, we're going to put this down. So this is going to center up right here in the middle, like this. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then we're going to do another piece of cardstock that you're going to need for a focal point. And we're going to do some leaves on the card we're going to make. And then another piece for your sentiment. So this is going to represent our sentiment. We're going to put that right down here. So, the template was very easy. So a nice, whoops, another, wipe that glue away. A nice easy button for today. So I'm just going to put this right down here in this bottom right hand corner, just like that. Okay, and we'll get our piece for the inside put in our card so that we can use this template not only to make our card for today, but it's nice to have an arsenal of templates just in case you need a card, need something in a hurry, and you don't want to spend a lot of time trying to figure it out. You've already got your templates made. All you got to do is pull them out and use them. So, there we go. So there's our cute template. Now, let's make a card. So, we are going to do this here. We're going to start with a piece of something. What is this? Smoky slate. I couldn't think. And it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to give this a nice burnish. We're going to open this back up so we can use our directions here. We're going to stamp in basic gray here in a minute. 4 by 5 1/4 for our inside piece. And then our pattern paper is coming from the Nature Walk pattern paper. And so this is going to be our first layer here. So we'll get this down. This is 4 by 5 1/4. Goodness. I have the dropsies today. Let me clean this glue off here so it'll come out. There we go. Alright, so we're going to put this down. I'm going to put it like this. So we're going to line that up, make that centered and straight. That looks pretty good. So we're going to give that a nice push. Okay, I keep feeling like it's moving on me every time I go to... Okay, there we go. All right, next piece is going to be another piece of smoky slate, just like we used on for our card base. And this one is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And so this is going to go down next. Okay, so we're going to center this up, just like that. All right, give that a nice push. Now, next piece is going to be another piece of cardstock. So I'm using Secret C, and I have, oh my goodness, I have run this through the birch wood 3D embossing folder. So you can see the texture that's on this. I just love that. So that's going to be our next layer. So let's go ahead and get this down. And we're going to center this up again. So just like that. All right. There we go. And then for our focal point for the outside, I cut a leaf with the Nature's Symphony dies. I used this leaf right here out of some silver foil, and we're going to put that right down here on the front of our card. We're going to stamp on our little piece here that I cut with one of the Stylish Shapes dies, and that's going to be our little focal point, or our sentiment piece down here, and we're going to stamp on the inside. So let's do our stamping first, and then we'll put the rest of our front together. So we're going to stamp use 2 stamps out of this Nature Symphony. We're going to use the Thank You, because it fits on our little piece here, and the You Make Me Smile. So we're going to stamp in, what do we want to stamp in? Do we want to stamp in Basic Gray? I think we do. Let me look at my example card I made. Yeah, let's go ahead and stamp in Basic Gray. So we're going to do our thank you on this little piece here. Let's see which way. This is right side up. So I'm going to ink up our little thank you. Okay. And we're going to line this up on the glass mat here. And we'll just try to get this down somewhat straight if we can. Let's see if I have good luck or not. There we go. I don't really like that. Hang on a second. Let's try that again. I'm going to flip it over because it really won't matter. And we're going to try one more time here. Let's try a better job of getting our stamp on the block straight. There we go. Maybe that will help. All right, so let's ink that up again. And we'll try one more time. That other one was way too close to the right-hand side. Let's see if this looks any better. Not really. That does not make me happy at all. That's okay though, we can fix it. We can fix it. We can fix it. Let me get the stamp, Let me get the die out here again. So it's this little one right here. Okay, so right there, we're going to use that. And let me find another scrap piece of this smoky slate paper. Although I don't think that's going to work. Does anybody else have just like a pile of scraps that you really should do something with and put away, but you never do? Alright, here's a piece. Let me run this through the machine again here and get us a new one to stamp on. Okay. I just recently cleaned my craft area, and it's just amazing when you go to clean it how much stuff you have. If you're like me, you've just got stuff everywhere. Okay, let's try this one more time. So let's ink this up. These little stamps, you kind of have to be careful with the pressure sometimes because it will distort the letters if you push too hard. So on top of it not being centered where I wanted it, it was kind of distorting the U. So let's try to move that a little bit to the left and not push as hard. There we go. Much better. Third time's a charm, right? No, we're not done with that yet. Okay, we're going to do our You Make Me Smile on the inside. This will be a lot easier than that little one, I promise. Okay, let's get this down right there. There we go. All right, we'll put our ink away. I'll check for any ink disasters here. Looks like I got some on my fingernails. I'm going to wipe that off. All right, let's go back to our card here. So we're going to put this on the inside. And we'll center this up in here. Just like this. Okay, back on the front now, we're going to put this down with some glue. Now, the way this is going to fit on here, depending on how you maneuver it, it is possible that some of the leaves are going to, stick off of our middle layer, which is fine. You just need to be cognizant about putting glue all the way to the end of the leaves. So I try to keep the glue, the bottom, let's say 2/3 of the leaf, and that way I don't end up with glue someplace I don't want it, which seems to be, a thing for me. I always have glue someplace I don't want it. All right, last little leaf right down here, put just a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna just carefully lay this down, and you can kind of wiggle these leaves around so that they look nice to you. So I think that looks pretty good, so we're going to give that a nice press. Then we're going to take our sentiment piece and we're going to put that up on a dimensional. So I'm going to get a couple of little mini dimensionals here because this is a tiny piece. And we're just going to get this popped up. And then last but not least, we have some gems we're going to put on this. And those are going to be something that came in the Nature's Walk kit. So let's see. Do we want... Let's put it right like that. Okay. And the gems we're going to use are these faux bronze pentagons. And this came in this Nature's Walk kit, as I said. So, or Nature's Symphony, or whatever the whole thing was called. So let's go ahead and get a couple of these down. So we're going to put one like right there. and one here, and one more. Let's see, we can put it right down here if I can get it off my take your pick tool. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Very, very masculine, kind of. You know, you could use that as a masculine card for sure. So, we've got a template to add to our stash, and we've got a thank you card. And that's all I've got for today. So, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and ring that bell so you get notified every time I upload a video. And I will be back maybe tomorrow. Let's hope. Cross our fingers. Tomorrow, possibly, with another paper pumpkin alternative. But if not, I'll definitely be back on Friday with our Fun Fold Friday. So I will see you all then. Have a crafty evening. Bye.